Season 5, Episode 10 of Eric Kripke's Supernatural features one of my favorite character moments, maybe ever. The episode entitled Abandon All Hope debuts a Crossroads demon, actually kind of the Crossroads demon, who is named Crowley and would also go on to become a series mainstay. His introductory scene is both great and wild. I mean, for one thing, it features this moment. Got him. The idea of someone being hesitant about a massively life and afterlife-altering deal in which they sell their soul to a demon because said demon insists on sealing the deal with a kiss is actually kind of hilarious, but Crowley's second scene in this episode is really what I want to focus on for a minute. We catch up with Crowley as he is enjoying some personal time, just kind of relaxing in his big mansion, lamping a little bit.
You lamping?
Chilling. Relaxing.
Why'd you change from chilling? What was wrong with chilling?
Drinking a nice glass of what I thought at first was wine, but then to my shock, he squeezes a lemon into it, so maybe it's like some type of rum? He puts on some nice music, sits back, kicks his feet up, and watches archival footage from Nazi Germany. This is such a funny little character moment, and may I also point out that Crowley is played brilliantly by the absolutely wonderful Mark Shepard. I actually completely forgot in my previous video about Depictions of Hell, the plotline where Crowley becomes the king of hell and turns the place into a really long line, kind of like what happens in that episode Adventure Time that I also covered in the last video. Honestly, a never-ending long line has got to be one of the purest visions of hell imaginable. It's so simple yet effective. There's actually serious horror in the idea of one's patience never being rewarded, a ceaseless wait. And it is the simple fact that it is a wait that's got to be the worst part. To me, that's what makes it so cruel. The false promise of there being something to wait for, a goal to reach, is truly sinister. Although frankly, as of late, the idea of hell has actually been weirdly kind of comforting to me, more so than even the thought of there being a heaven. Personally, in my life, I don't do nice things for others because I could be rewarded for this when I die. I try to be a decent guy just because I think that's common sense, so in general, I don't think about heaven a lot, but I have been ruminating on the judicial good of hell. In light of certain real-world events that will go unnamed, the idea of there actually being consequences for one's actions at the end of the tunnel, the idea of evil people who have evaded justice for all of their lives finally being held accountable, even if it is after death, is kind of comforting, and there are certainly moments in Supernatural's depiction of hell that have had me thinking about that. Another great depiction of hell that I forgot to mention in my last video was...
Mankind is dead.
Excuse me. Sorry, I had something in my throat. The early access game...
Why is it fuel?
Ugh, good lord, my fucking allergies are killing me.
Hell is full.
Yes, to the legion of Ultrakill fans who hollered at me for not mentioning the game last go around, I am going to talk about it and its depiction of hell. But first, I do need to give a quick spoiler warning for Ultrakill and all of the other media we will be taking a look at in this video. I have timestamped when we will be talking about what, but some discussion may spill over a little bit, and I have also included a full list of everything featured in this video down below, which also includes the music used, and here's an obligatory video too of Pancake. She was in a really good mood today, as far away from any kind of hell as could be, but let's say goodbye to Pancake for the time being, and hello to our spoiler warning.
You realize Vikings versus Toxhards!
For the audio listeners, I will be spoiling all of In Bruges, a good chunk of the lore from Ultrakill and Dante's Inferno, most of Over the Garden Wall, and a little bit of Chainsaw Man. Also thanks to Indigo for sending me this lovely ballpoint pen drawing of a jaguar.
Jaguars rule.
And shout out to William Colley, who sort of guessed the topic correctly. In this video, we will be taking a look at some depictions of Purgatory as well, so he did get that part right. Hey, it's me from Beyond the Edit. So actually this video is going to be a two-parter. It's going to end up that way. It just got a little long on me. Plus some holiday season and real life type stuff slowed down the process, and I was just kind of ready to upload something. So make sure to look out for part 2, which will be uploaded probably pretty quick, I guess early next week. This video will just lead pretty much right into that. So FYI, most of the coverage of Over the Garden Wall and In Bruges will be in that, plus a couple other things that I did end up wanting to include. Also, thanks to Jay for drawing Pancake here. I love it. And for making this mood board. Let me know down below which number you are today. And thank you to everyone who has commented on the recent community posts. Make sure to keep an eye out for the next one. Ultrakill, released into early access in 2020 by Finnish developer Hakita, is a rambunctious reinvention of the genre most commonly and lovingly referred to as the boomer shooter. A space filled with the likes of classics such as Doom and Quake. Boomer shooters are usually single-player first-person action games where you battle hordes of different enemy types, gunning them down with fiendish glee. Typically in these games, there is no ADSing, no aiming down sights, and more often than not, they are extremely fast-paced and frenetic. The recent additions to the Doom franchise, entries that help to revitalize the boomer shooter genre, absolutely fit this mold and feature very rapid gameplay, but compared to Ultrakill, they are nothing. Playing Ultrakill is sort of like playing a Doom title, but both you and the game are hopped up on a combination of speed and steroids, whilst running a marathon while a clouder of predatory cats chase you down. Ultrakill is an overwhelming cacophony of blazing bullets, gore, viscera, crazy waves of diverse enemies, angels, and demons, you name it, this game will throw it at you with reckless abandon. But aside from its extremely well-balanced gameplay, the narrative presented is very well fleshed out, and yes, pun intended. The world building is expansive, the lore is deep, even unfinished as it is, right? Remember, this game is still in early access, but even then, its depiction of Hell, the location in which it is mostly set, is very compelling. Hell in Ultrakill is sort of alive. It is a seemingly sentient, unruly, and untamable beast that can no longer be controlled by God, and it treats the player like a disease, constantly beaming enemies to your location in an attempt to stop you in your quest to find the most important life-giving fuel that there is: blood. Blood in Ultrakill is treated like gasoline. There are these things called guttermen, which are these monstrous machines of war that run on blood. Although, to be clear, these things are human creations, not something that Hell has come up with. Although Hell was so impressed with these mechanical fiends that they have created their own versions. But anyways, the guttermen, they carry these coffins on their backs in which both volunteers and prisoners of war alike have their blood supplies sucked dry to sustain these monsters. I love the idea here of bodily fluids being treated as a commodity, a resource literally powering the gears of a never-ending war that has escalated to cosmic proportions. The gutterman is an absolutely abominable and brilliant monstrosity. In my opinion, from a writing standpoint, the Gutterman is the game's crown jewel. To talk about Ultrakill is to talk about the Gutterman. One of my favorite aspects of this ghoulish creature is that somewhere buried underneath the layers of rusted metal machinery and weaponry is a sentient and sensitive being. There is this little poem you can find on the second level of Act 3 that is written by a Gutterman, and it is actually a startlingly eerie, sad, and dare I say profoundly beautiful piece of writing.
Mother, mother, mother of me, I know I should not miss you so, but mother of me, I do. Your pained breaths that rasped and reverberated in your rusted iron tomb, the blood of your breast that nourished me and warmed me in its caress, which corpse and cruelty were all I witnessed. Mother, mother, mother of me, I know you would hate me so, and mother of me, I do too, but I would not feel, not think, not dream were it not for you in my rusted iron womb. Your tortured love brought me to this war that I could take the heart of another, and I need you no more. Mother, mother, mother of me, I know your thoughts had left you long ago. And mother of me, I will never truly know, but I hope it redeems my life, even just a slight, when I cried and crushed your skull that final night.
You will not seldom find a more interesting enemy in gaming than the Gutterman, and you will not encounter a depiction of hell as vividly violent as this either. That is, unless you boot up an old Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3 or go onto Game Pass and download the 2010 game Dante's Inferno.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, above the gates of hell.
Dante's Inferno is all at once a totally miraculous and extremely strange game. The fact that a AAA title was released by EA of all companies, which adapted a nearly 800-year-old poem into an ultra-violent hack-and-slash action-adventure is a sort of unbelievable thing that happened. Now that I think about it, Beowulf would make an awesome game as well. I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been adapted to the medium yet. Dante's Inferno is a game that is both wonderfully committed to the very specific thing that it is trying to do, and also in bursts quite a bit experimental. Almost a little ahead of its time in terms of adapting popular history and mythology into a media fit for mass consumption. With the notable exceptions of the God of War and Clash of the Titans franchises, and I'm sure there's some others I'm forgetting too, but even for how different Dante's Inferno is, especially compared to other big budget games released circa 2010, heck, even today it'd be a little bit out there, but really Dante's Inferno at its core is mostly just a God of War knockoff, and I know that is really reductive, but it is true. It borrows very heavily from that series' entire ethos, really, and the gameplay is just so extremely similar. And to be honest, I don't think it has aged particularly well either. I will admit, this genre isn't necessarily my preferred cup of tea, but in my playthrough, I did get bored really pretty fast, and I think Pancake maybe did too. To be clear, though, that is mostly a comment on the gameplay. The narrative side of things does have some serious bright spots, namely the extremely cool 2D cutscenes. These serve as flashbacks, and I also really like how the game transitions into these sequences. I'm the kind of person who will take 2D animation over the alternative every day of the week, so I really appreciated the craft and thought put on display here. I also enjoy just how nasty hell is in this game. It is just it's such a suitably mean place. Everything wants to fuck you up, and it is all just so vicious. You know how sharks have layers upon layers of teeth? Well, descending into the different layers of hell in this game feels like navigating the inside of a great white's mouth. The idea of adapting Dante from the Divine Comedy, who is originally just the writer inserting himself into his Bible fanfiction, into a barbaric Knights Templar who early on in the game literally kills death before plunging into hell to save his dead wife damned because of his outrageously poor and basically evil decision-making is insane. The game was written and directed by Jonathan Knight, and I really appreciate his completely outrageous creativity. I also really like the commentary in this game on the Crusades. I like how Beatrice has a little bit more agency than the usual damsel in distress, even if this difference is marginal. She's got a little bit more going on, especially in the latter half of the game, than one would expect. I don't know if I've really talked about this on this channel yet. I don't think I have, but I've got a bit of a thing for movie trailers, actually just trailers in general. I just really appreciate a good trailer. I actually consider myself a bit of an aficionado, really, to be honest on the subject. I shouldn't be shy about it. I'm kind of a trailer expert. I've got a playlist on my personal YouTube account with probably thousands of them on it. So when I decided to cover the game for this video, one of the very first things I did was go back and rewatch its Super Bowl ad. It is only 30 seconds long, but that doesn't stop it from being an absolutely brilliant trailer. Set to Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine, the advertisement is fun, kind of whimsical even, and also boasts some gnarly visuals of hell. James Poniewazek of the New York Times called the trailer something magical and funny. In a microcosm, this actually is a really good little depiction of hell, but like many great trailers, I don't think the final product really lived up to this. I wish it boasted the same anachronistic irony that was presented here. Ultimately, the game is way too one note. I also had a hard time taking Virgil seriously. He just gave me massive Ghost of Christmas Past vibes the whole time. And by the way, I had no idea about this, but did you know that this received a feature-length companion film? Dante's Inferno, an animated epic, follows, bafflingly, the exact same narrative as the game, with one key exception. In the movie, Beatrice is butt-ass naked the entire time. Otherwise, it is pretty much the same, which begs the question, why did they make this in the first place? I think EA did this with Dead Space too, right? They released an animated companion film or miniseries for maybe it was the third entry. If memory serves correct, that followed a different narrative though, right? I'm pretty sure that's the case, but anyways, closing thoughts on Dante's Inferno's Hell. My favorite part of the original poem is when they walk past this like massive mud pit. I don't remember which trench of hell they were in at this point, but there's like bubbles coming out of the mud, and Virgil tells Dante that those are from the screams of those buried below, sunken so deep into the mud that they will never see light again. Fantastically horrific moment. Here is an exceedingly unpopular opinion that I hold. For all of the history involved with the sport of soccer or football, but for all of the hundreds of years of rich traditions from the UK, from the rest of Europe, South America, I believe the coolest fan tradition originates from and takes place in Portland, Oregon. Every time that the Major League Soccer team, the Portland Timbers, scores a goal, a lumberjack called Timber Joey revs up a chainsaw and slashes a big chunk of bark off a tree and presents it proudly to a raucous crowd of screaming fans. I am sorry, but I am yet to see anything else this cool in the world of soccer. Yeah, West Ham fans blow bubbles on match days, but do they have a lumberman wielding a deadly weapon in their stadium? I think not. You know what else has a chainsaw? The ongoing manga series, Chainsaw Man. Honest to God, I just couldn't figure out a better way to segue into that. But Chainsaw Man is written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto and also has been adapted into an animated series. I had actually never heard of Chainsaw Man until this past summer when a handful of kids I was coaching just would not shut up about it. Coach Thomas, you gotta watch Chainsaw Man. You gotta watch Chainsaw Man. They were obsessed and they showed me some different panels from the manga too, and so I did. I watched a couple of episodes and I'll be honest, it wasn't quite for me, but I did check out the manga and that was in large chunks for me. I think part of what it is the black and white artwork. I don't think the way the action is depicted is meant to be seen in color. I would describe the fights in the Chainsaw Man manga as a chaotic overlapping of sharply drawn lines smattering into one another. It is so cool looking to me, and I just don't find it as stylish colorized. But my favorite panel from the manga, which I haven't finished yet by the way, so FYI, a lot of my Chainsaw Man knowledge is limited, but my favorite panel is from chapter 64 entitled Welcome to Hell. Our protagonists get stuck in hell and they encounter the Darkness Devil, whose arrival is accompanied by a congregation of astronauts who seem to be worshiping him. We then get this incredible image here. I love it, as I do a lot of the imagery from this chapter, as well as its general depiction of hell. Chainsaw Man's version of hell is very nuanced. If you were to wake up in this hell, you would be greeted by the actually quite pleasant sight of grassy fields extending in every direction around you. You would be awakening to a peaceful scene. The thought that something is wrong wouldn't creep into your head until you looked up and noticed that the sky was gone, replaced by a series of endless doors. I love the uncanniness of this hell. I love how the danger of it lurks hidden, secluded in the darkness. There's also just like a frog here for some reason. I adore frogs, so I love that. Fun fact, when I proposed, I did so at this dock by our lake, and the way I lured my significant other down there without arousing suspicion was I told her we were gonna go frog hunting. And I actually think she may have been a little disappointed that I was proposing and we were getting married and not trying to catch some frogs. But the point is that I love frogs frogs, and there's a frog in this hell, so I love it. Also, this panel where everyone's arms get pulled off is also awesome. The Darkness Devil, which is this unspeakable monster lying in wait in this hell, in general just rules. He's a really frightening antagonist. That Nietzsche quote, when you stare into the abyss stares back at you. Well, the Darkness Devil is the abyss, and Chainsaw Man's hell is the void that houses the abyss, and it's all just so cool. This depiction of hell just rules. At the time of recording, the date is November 25th, just 3 days shy of my birthday for one thing, but also we are well into the fall season, which means it is that time of the year again.
There's an old black train a-comin', scraping up the eye. You don't need no tickets, boys, we'll take you when it's time. Come along, young stranger, aren't you someone's son? How'd you find this depot, 'cause it ain't where you belong. You will pass a graveyard, stones worn by the years. Train will stop a minute, but don't let it leave you here. Coachman is my brother, engineer's my friend. We'll get you more acquainted by the time we reach the end.
I don't know where to start with Patrick McHale's 2014 limited series Over the Garden Wall. It is one of my favorite things ever. It has been for a very long time. I mean, for starters, coziest movie or show ever made, easily, in my opinion. The Blasting Company's soundtrack is absolutely gorgeous, accompanied by a litany of incredible singing performances, namely Jack Jones, who performs the theme, as well as all of the songs that the frog sings. Yeah, Big Shaka Show with tons of frogs in it is one that I adore. Really, I could go on forever about the things that I love about the show, because I admire every iota of it. When talking about it, I actually feel overwhelmed by just how breathtakingly good it is, and by how much I adore it. I'm
the highwayman.
Anyway, so as for...
I'm the highwayman.
I make ends meet, just like any man. I work with my hands. If you cross my path, I'll knock you out.
The best part of the Highwayman scene, the real punchline here, is that it is never remarked upon again. But in this short segment, Jaron Paxton steals the episode with his incredible vocal performance, and good lord, Samuel Ramey nearly steals the entire series with his outstanding performance as the Beast. How could you talk about Over the Garden Wall without talking about the Beast? To talk about Over the Garden Wall is to talk about the Beast. But we're not going to do that yet. First, I want to talk about Patient is the Night. At the end of the second episode, our protagonists, a pair of brothers named Wirt and Greg, who are lost in the woods trying to get home, find themselves in trouble with the residents of a small town called Pottsville. Their punishment for their indiscretion is, much to their relief, just a few hours of manual labor. And then a song called Patient is the Night plays as they work. This song has literally gotten me through some very, very tough and long work days. Honestly, next time you are struggling to make it through a rough day, just try and pop an earbud in, put this on repeat, and let it relax you a little bit. This is something that has actually really helped me. It's also just a nice song, definitely something good to listen to as you walk your dog, for one thing.
Ooh, among the fields of straw and stover, clocked in till the workday is over. Time's a gentle stream, longer than it seems. Patient is the night. How I long to see her face now, her starry moonlit gaze now. I know she's never late, still anxiously I wait.